Some people rock and some people roll. Some will make you giggle right down to your soul. So talk to the world and introduce them to you. And look at me now, I'm all Barbara and you. You gotta take a step inside the shoes of another. Get to know your neighbor, get to know one another. So talk to the world and introduce them to you. And look at me now, I'm all Barbara and you.
Good evening and welcome to the program. So glad you could join us tonight. As is my custom, before I introduce my first guest, I will tell you who will be joining me at 7:30. And I'm not going to tell you too much detail about them, but just let me tell you they're a fantastic band called The Crushers. And I'm going to have a special co-host with me at 7:30. But for now, we are going to talk with two representatives from the Stratton Players, and I always enjoy seeing the Stratton Players. And left to right, we have Nancy Lamont, and we have Josh Weidenhammer. I got it right. And Nancy is the only person who ever got me on the stage in a play. You sneaky little devil, you. And Nancy, you've been part of the Stratton Players for how long now?
It was 2012.
Oh,
So it hasn't been that long.
No, I was thinking it was a little longer while than that. But I also appreciate the fact that you're kind of the PR person and you always provide me with wonderful guests.
I try.
I appreciate that. And Josh, this is at least your second appearance on my show.
I've been with you before,
Yeah, and it's good to see you again.
Thank you.
And tell us about the upcoming play.
Well, we are doing the best Christmas pageant ever. It opens this Friday. The cast is in the middle of their tech week. Nancy is the producer for that show, and John Williams is the director. Seems to be going really well so far, and I'm looking forward to it. It runs for 2 weekends. You can get your tickets at strattonplayers.com. I believe they're $15 and $7.50 for children under 12. The shows are at 8 p.m. on Saturday, 8 p.m. on Friday, and at 2 p.m. on Sunday.
And are they at Applewild School?
They're at the Alumni Center at the Applewild School.
Right. It's a wonderful venue.
It is.
And yet we're looking forward to the day when Stratton has their own playhouse again. How's that coming along, Nancy?
Well, as you know, we had the $200,000 grant from the state, which we matched. Yay. But there's still a long way to go. So, but I believe, and I'm not on the board anymore, so bear with me, but I believe we have a contractor now and we're starting to move forward.
We do. When we got our bids about 4 years ago, when this process started 4 or 5 years ago, the market was a lot different. Mm-hmm. So the money we've raised has unfortunately only got us halfway to where we actually need to be in today's market. We did receive bids for the first phase, and the contracting is set to begin in the next couple weeks or a month or so.
It will happen. And we all know, we have confidence it will happen. And tell people, Josh, give a little commercial why people should come see the best Christmas pageant ever.
Well, it's filled with beautiful children from 4 years old to 16, 17 years old. There's a lot of kids from Applewild School that are going to be there. There's a lot of kids from the Leominster and Fitchburg public schools. If you just want to see a heartwarming family production gone awry that comes together in a beautiful, dramatic way, come check us out at Stratton. I'm really excited to see it open up on Friday night.
Now tell me a little bit about yourself, because you're relatively new to Stratton.
I am. I joined looking for an acting gig in April of last year. Then I directed a show over Christmas, It's a Wonderful Life, of last year's Christmas show, and now I'm the chairman of the board of directors. So
little did you know what you were getting in for.
It's been an interesting 18 months or so.
That's how things work at Stratton.
Yeah. Well, that's an important thing to mention. You have a lot of dedicated members of the group, and everybody has to pitch in and do a little bit of everything.
Yes.
And have I seen you on stage? I think I have. Did you act in it?
You probably saw me in It's a Wonderful Life, and
yeah.
you probably saw me as the bug-eating lunatic in Dracula.
Oh, that was you. I do remember you from It's a Wonderful Life. And the Stratton Players get involved in other community things, and you have a couple of things coming up. There's the event on Main Street.
Yeah, I regret to say I forget what it's called, but it's on December 9th. It starts around 1 o'clock. It sounds like a really beautiful thing for the city. There'll be hot chocolate, warm cookies, Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, a variety of carolers and other vendors that's going on. I believe there's 2 hay rides, one that's horse-drawn and one that maybe has a tractor. And they go both up and down Main Street and Boulder Drive. Stratton is going to put up a little station with some Victorian era actors, kind of like you would see at Disney World when you do a parade and you see a similar scene going on. And we're going to do like the redemption scene of Scrooge, Ebenezer, when he finally realizes all the mistakes he's made, and the God bless us everyone with Tiny Tim, and we'll kind of improvise that and then have some information about Stratton too with some singing.
And that's December 9th.
December 9th, Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Right, and downtown Main Street will be aglow with wonders.
Yes, that's right.
You've mentioned you've gotten kind of evolved at Stratton Players to being chairman of the board. Have you gotten what you expected or were looking for?
It's been my 90-day probation is almost over. So we'll see.
We're gonna let him stay.
We'll see how that goes. It's been interesting. It's been a challenge to, come into a tradition, really, a theater that's had a long tradition, long-standing members of the community. Not a lot of written down tradition, so I've had to kind of navigate the different aspects of the theater, but I think we're in really good shape. I'm really proud of the team doing the show for the Christmas pageant. I've had little to do with it. I've had little, there's not been a lot of emergency calls made in the middle of the night, so it sounds like the team is really doing a great job.
Well, I always am impressed with the amount of dedication that all of you people in local theater give, the time that you put into it, the dedication. It's sort of like a hobby to you because you don't get paid for one thing.
Right.
But it takes up a lot of time, and there's a lot. Nancy,
It's a hobby, but it's family too. I mean,
That's
it's
right.
something that you get involved with, and you can't let anybody down. You can't not help. You can't not be a part of things. It's Stratton. It's been going on forever, and we certainly don't want to see anything happen to it.
Well, it's good. It's how many? It's over 75 years, isn't it?
90.
This will be our 93rd year.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
I lost track of time there.
So even with the theater burning
That's-
down and all that, we've managed to, keep the tradition alive, and that's what I'm hoping to do with the new board. And
Now, tell me a little bit about your background, because you've.
I'm originally from Orlando, Florida. I moved here about 4 years ago
Why?
to take a job in Concord. I'm an administrator for Minuteman ARC, which is a human service agency there. I've always been an actor and a musician, and now that I have a family and a couple children, I just kind of have to lay low on the clubs until 4 a.m. So your next guests maybe need to remember that before they just start making money. And I just, now that I'm working, looking for something to volunteer in and get involved in, and there's just a lot of opportunity here in Fitchburg. I'm really excited to see the city is, I think, going to change for in a good direction and bring a lot of good culture back in order to, have a thriving art scene and hopefully boost the economy and the general morale of the city, if you will.
And how old are your children?
5 and 2.
So they haven't been on stage yet.
They haven't, just some little preschool shows, but yeah, they haven't been on stage yet.
Were you brought up in a acting family?
My great-grandmother was an opera singer, so I grew up with that, and my great-uncle is a stage writer or screenwriter. His name was Edward Anhalt, and I have a few aunts and uncles that are still in Hollywood. So all the news coming out of Hollywood, I've known about this news for many years.
We won't go there.
Yeah.
Nancy, I don't remember how you first got involved with Stratton.
It's actually kind of a funny story, and I'll tell it willingly. Back in 2012, I wasn't in a very good place in my life and decided that it was time to look at my bucket list and look at my life and maybe find something that would lift me up. And I went online and I found an audition at Stratton, and I walked through the doors at 50 and went to my first audition, And Bob Blake, God rest his soul, I miss him so much, he looked at my audition sheet and he said, "What made you come out for your first audition at 50?" And I burst into tears.
Oh,
And I told him my whole story, and he cast me. And I never left. I've been here ever since.
Yeah, we remember Bob. Yeah, he was wonderful.
He was.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
No. What was the role?
It was Almost Maine, which is a vignette show.
I
And
remember that one.
I was on stage for, I think, a total of 8 minutes. And it was the scariest 8 minutes of my life for 6 nights.
Do you still get nervous when you're on the stage?
Always. I'm nervous now.
Well, that's funny. You said to me before we went on that you were nervous, and I'm like, why? You're used to acting, and you said,
I'm terrified all the time.
but you said with acting you've rehearsed.
Yeah, it's rehearsed. yeah.
This is spontaneous.
And hopefully you know what you're going to say next when you're on stage. Although that's happened a few times. We've dropped a few lines, but yeah, it's
But it's the other actors who know if you miss a line.
Right.
The audience doesn't know.
Yep.
Do you want to tell my viewers how you got me on stage?
well, we did a show called the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. And I wasn't actually in that show. I was the spelling coordinator. So it was my job to recruit audience members to come up on stage.
And I couldn't say no to her. It's the only time I've ever. People think that because I do TV that maybe I'm interested in acting, and I would be petrified acting in a play, like you say you are in a TV
Right.
studio.
So same thing.
I was talking about the community events that you get involved in, and there's a toy drive coming up, Nancy.
Yes, it is. Oh, wait a minute.
You can refer to your notes.
Right.
I
Look-
said Barbara Walters uses notes. We can too. Anyway.
Everybody always gets us mixed up. It's called Local Veterans Helping Local Children, and we're asking that you bring a new unwrapped toy to one of the shows, and we will see that it gets into the hands of a local child.
Oh, so if you're just attending one of the plays,
Yep.
one performance of Best Christmas Pageant, bring a new unwrapped toy.
Yes.
And just donate it, and then you're taking care of getting it out
Yep.
to local people, which is really important.
Yes, we think so too. That's why we went with this organization. We wanted to keep the gifts local.
Now, because you're in Applewild's theater, you have much more capacity than we used to have at the Playhouse. So I would presume that tickets are available at the door.
Yes,
It's always better to go online and reserve them ahead of time.
yes.
There are 400 seats. We'd love to sell out, but
Every night.
we've yet to reach over 300. So
But you
think
weren't
that'd be
around when the
I
Playhouse,
wasn't,
the
no.
tiny little Playhouse, and it was always packed. There were, I forget how many seats there were.
I was
in there.
actually only here when we were in the church. I came the year after the theater burned down.
I don't know how many years. Well, I guess all the years I've lived in this area, I've been going to the plays.
Yep.
And I strongly recommend it, folks. That's a great Christmas present for somebody. Give them a season ticket to the Stratton Players.
And what is it, $40 for
$40
all 3
for
shows?
all 3 shows. Yeah.
That's fabulous. Yeah, that would make a great Christmas present. So again, how large is that cast for the Best Christmas Pageant Ever?
I feel like it's 100 when I go and I see that. I don't know how John keeps
think there's
all
30
those
or
kids.
so.
It's about 30 plus. Yeah.
Josh, how do you compare acting versus directing?
Well, I've only directed a couple times and once only a full show. Acting is just getting the actors to do what your vision is without making them feel like
That's
they're
the
being
directing
told
part.
what to do.
Yeah, that's the directing part, right?
Acting is sometimes over dramatized on how amazing actors are, which I don't. I just.
Well, I think it's the actors. I'll
Yeah,
give
right.
the
Well,
inflated
that's
ego.
but
I'm not talking about local people.
yeah, well, some we treat actors as if they're royalty and they're geniuses, when really most of the time they're just looking in the camera at the right time, being directed well, and saying their lines the right way. So I just approach acting as learning my lines. And if I can get that, then and stay honest to the motivation of my lines, hopefully I'm received well.
Did you say you directed yourself? What you had the lead in last year's Christmas show?
Yeah, but that wasn't by choice. It was because we lost the lead actor in the show.
Oh,
so at the
okay.
last
But you
minute,
were the director originally, and then
yes.
you had to step in
Correct.
because you probably knew all the lines by then anyway.
Well, it's a show I had starred in several times
Oh.
before, so it was pretty easy to pick it up.
But that must be difficult to be the director and the actor.
It was a difficult season, but it's over, and a new season has begun.
What would you consider an ideal role
Me?
that you've
For me? Oh, I've always, I like Shakespeare. I like classic American pieces, Tennessee Williams.
We don't get to see much Shakespeare around
No,
here.
we don't.
That should be put on the docket.
Any David Mamet show, I'd be thrilled to be a part of. I don't really care for musicals very much, so straight dramas are typically what I like. Yeah.
And Stratton mixes it up, Nancy, over the years, the types of play that they offer, right?
We do mostly plays. We do straight shows. We do farces. We've done a couple of musicals, but we don't do a lot of musicals.
You have done some comedies that have just made me crazy. They were so much fun.
We have done some fun shows.
You've got a lot of good actors
Yeah,
to
we do.
those roles.
Yep.
Do you have another play that you would like to be in and that hasn't happened yet?
Well, over the years, I've learned that I saw a great picture on Facebook one day, and it was a picture of a glacier. And here's the water, and the glacier below says the rehearsal, and the glacier above says the show. And it's just so much of a commitment that lately I haven't really found the time to be able to do a show, which is why I'm producing this show, because I want to stay involved, but it's such a huge time commitment. My dream role is the Wicked Witch of the West,
Oh, really?
just so you know.
Just
That'd be
so
great.
At least
you
we
know.
can pencil that into one of our seasons.
Now, I asked Josh to compare directing and acting. What is the role of the producer?
Well, the role of the producer is ever evolving at
At Stratton.
At Stratton, it isn't anything that on a regular basis we had. The board kind of oversees a lot of the different productions, but it's kind of, I guess it's kind of a liaison between the board and the director, and I did a lot of the advertising. We had a fun craft day with the kids where we all made Christmas ornaments. We took their cast pictures and made Christmas ornaments out of them as a surprise so that we could put those up instead of doing the cast board. So that was a fun day for all of us. And just making sure that everything keeps flowing,
In Hollywood, I think the producer puts up all the money.
Yeah.
That's not your
They
case.
didn't get that from me, but,
I could be wrong, but how many? Do we know how many children are in it? You said there's.
I think there's at least a dozen.
There was
to
17,
six.
and I think he added more. I think
Yeah,
he
so it
added
might
a
be
couple
over
to
20.
the choir at the end.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really going to be fun. Now, is this a play that has several acts with an intermission?
It's a one-act play.
It's a one-act play.
Yep.
Okay. I recently saw another one. I think it was Stratton that had a one-act play. Because I'm used to the intermissions and.
It's probably It's a Wonderful
It's a
Life.
Wonderful Life was a one-act play as well, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They're 2-act plays that we turn into 1-act plays for attention span reasons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you said you came from Orlando, and that's the philosophy of Disney.
Well,
Everybody,
how
they
many
say-
times have you fallen asleep in the theater in the middle of the second act? And it's not because the show's no good, it's just because that's the attention span of most people in the modern era.
Well, in the Disney World, everything is 20 minutes
That's
because
right,
that's their philosophy. You went over the details quickly, and in case somebody tuned in late, slowly give all the details about the upcoming play.
Sure. So the Best Christmas Pageant Ever opens this Friday. The show starts at 8 p.m. and tickets are on sale at the door for $15 or $7.50 if you're under 12. They can also be purchased online at www.strattonplayers.com.
So it's going to be this Friday and Saturday.
At 8.
At 8, Sunday at 2.
Correct.
And then the following weekend. That'll be the
date
first
times.
weekend in December.
Correct.
Okay, because people see this show at different times, and sometimes if we just say tomorrow or this week, they get a
So
little
for those
confused.
of you that are stuck in the house with your family from New Jersey or from wherever, and you just want to get out of the house or do something fun with the family as opposed to staring at the television, come on down and see
it's
the
a
show.
beautiful theater. It's a beautiful state-of-the-art theater that we're thrilled to have Applewild have us on hopefully a temporary basis.
Yeah, but you're right. It is
Yeah.
great that was worked out as a kind of a team.
Yep.
No, I'm thinking for a while you were going to different places, but no, that was one of the other theater groups.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy all the theater groups, and a lot of the actors play with or appear with more than one of the local theater groups.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is, you're all talented people. And Nancy, you don't have any children in the play, do you?
I don't.
Okay, I didn't. You don't have any children.
I don't have any
I
children.
didn't think.
yeah.
I didn't think
That's
you
why
did.
they're not in the play.
Yeah, right. See, you don't seem like you're nervous at all doing this TV
And yet-
show. It's easy. It's easy. That's what I'm telling the kids.
You make it easy. It's always delightful to talk to you.
Well, thank you. So, do we know what's the next play that will be coming up? You mentioned the season tickets. You can get all 3 plays for $40. Do we know what's coming up?
The Foreigner is the next play. I haven't had a chance to read it. I can't tell you much about it, but that's the next play.
I'm not familiar
The
with that one.
Foreigner is a pretty famous comedy by a man named Larry Shue. It has to do with an Englishman that visits a southern lodge, and he has kind of social anxiety. So in order to avoid having to talk to people, he pretends as if he's a foreigner from another country and speaks this imaginary language. And so you can imagine all the kind of comical things that come through with that. Plus, there's lots of KKK members that show up on stage in hoods, so it's kind of, comical in that regards. Interestingly enough, we are looking for a director for that show because the director assigned to it has had some health problems and has had to step down. So if any talented theater directors are watching tonight, we'd love to hear from you at strattonplayers@hotmail.com. Or you can reach us out on Facebook if you're interested in directing.
So the cast has been selected?
No, that show hasn't even started. We'll
okay.
probably start auditions at the end of January. And
Good idea to get the current
Cast
one
the
out,
show,
get the
correct,
current one
yeah.
behind you before you start casting for the next one. But you are looking for a director now.
Yeah, and we're also trying to do something different by planning our next 2 seasons ahead of time. We'd like to have them planned by February 1st of 2018. So I put a call out on a lot of websites, and if anybody's watching for any theater directors that would like to submit some plays to Stratton, I'm looking for your top 3 non-musicals that could be performed in this Applewild Center, which is this large 400-seat theater. So it calls for a certain type of show with a large cast.
So as chairman of the board, these are some of the things you're implementing.
These are some of the things that I'm trying to oversee, and
Yeah.
make sure they get done.
In our remaining minute and a half, is there anything you want people to know that I haven't given you a chance to say?
Yes, actually, there was a great article in the paper the other day in the Sentinel. Actually, Steve D'Ambrosio has done a great job in creating a tech team for sound and lights from Applewild students, and they're bringing in other friends and kids that are going on to other schools or coming back and staying with Stratton. So that's been a wonderful program, and we're really excited to have them working with us.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And as usual, I wish you success with the next, with the best Christmas pageant ever. And I will try my best to get there and see it.
We hope to see you there.
And keep up the good work.
Thank you so
Barbara.
much.
And please stay tuned. We're going to have maybe a little longer break than usual setting up the band. But we'll be right back. And I have some great entertainment for you and an incredible co-host.
To FATV, Fitchburg Access Television. Each week we take pride in providing some of the best public access television programs in New England. From FATV live sporting events, city meetings, and school functions, to weekly shows such as Barbara and You, Inside and Discussing Fitchburg, Sports Weekly, Weekly Wellness, and Our City. Our dedicated staff of industry professionals and hard-working volunteers is here each week working behind the scenes, making it all happen. Besides on air, Our programming is also shown live online, where you can see our shows in beautiful high definition. You can also search through our archive of past shows and watch anytime at your leisure. But did you know you can also be part of the action? Become a member of FATV, and you gain access to all the equipment, studio space, and classes that FATV has to offer. You can create your own show, volunteer for exciting live events in our studio, or all around the city in our high-quality mobile broadcast truck. The possibilities are endless. For a small fee, you can become an individual member. Or for a little more, you and a group of friends can become part of a rising trend in the future of television. From sports shows to news shows, civic events, and talk shows. You can be in the driver's seat by directing and even starring in your own production. Also, students are free. FATV staff can assist you by getting your new show up and running with professional industry standard equipment, TV studio time, and private editing suites. All you need are friends to help out, and before you know it, you will be on the air. So if you have a great idea for a TV show and want to share it with the world, stop by 175 Kimball Street, Fitchburg for a free tour of our facility. You can also contact us at 978-343-0834 or email us at info@fatv.org. Fitchburg Access Television, working together for a stronger community.
Oh, we're back. My special co-host tonight is my grandson, Kirill Strunkin, and many of my viewers remember Kirill from the many Christmas shows every year of his 10 years of his life.
I think so.
You've been, oh yes, you've been here every year. Wow. You don't remember the baby years when you had to, I made you wear the Santa hat. But the reason I asked Kirill to be my co-host tonight is because it's thanks to him that I knew about this band called the Crushers. And Kirill, do you remember the concert you saw them play in, well, I know you do remember, in Sterling last summer? Mm-hmm. And I came home I've been out of town, and when I get back, Kirill and his parents, everyone was saying, you gotta meet this band, you gotta have them on your show, they're terrific. And so I invited Kirill, since he introduced me to them, to share this with me tonight. And I'm gonna introduce the band, and then I'm gonna let Kirill ask them some questions, and I may ask some of the ones he forgets. Now let's see if I can get this right. I'm front row, left to right, camera person, don't help me. Jake Brennan, you're Jake, right? And James Baroni, and don't tell me, you're Zach Brennan. And they separated the twins, so if you think these two on the end look alike, there's a reason. They are twins. And in the back row, we have Jonathan Godbout and Ben Godbout. So we have two sets of brothers, and James, you're the outsider, if you will. How'd you get that spot?
Well, they needed a singer, so they just asked me, and I tried out, and they liked me, so.
Yeah.
He was the star of the school play that year, and he's been a friend of ours for a while.
Well, it's a good group. And Kirill, do you remember, you didn't write your questions down like Nana does, but do you remember what you wanted to ask them?
I remember a couple of them. What's your inspiration for doing this?
Who wants to take that? Ben?
I will, sure. I think overall inspiration is just to have fun, play music. It's something that we all found out that we had a common interest in, and just by playing together, it's really been a great experience to watch ourselves grow over time.
And how long have you been playing together?
It's 2 years now.
I think with James, it's been maybe a year or two, and I think we first started maybe 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Got another question?
Talking about like how fun and singing, what's your favorite song to play?
That's a
We
hard
might have 5 different favorites.
Yeah, maybe.
You do? Okay, so
Probably.
we'll start there. We'll just go through the row.
I like playing New Ways, which is a song we might play tonight. So yeah, that's the one
James
I like
says you
playing.
took his.
Yeah, new ways as well for me.
It's an original.
Yeah.
James, you don't play an instrument?
I sing.
I know you're the singer, yes.
Yeah,
but-
I play the ukulele.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They won't let you play it in this group?
No.
And what are your favorites?
I hate to be redundant, but New Ways, I mean, we wrote it and it's just kind of fun to do.
Well, are you guys going to do that one tonight?
Yes.
Okay, let me know which one it is.
right.
Okay. And how about you, Godbout boys?
I like Everlong by the Foo Fighters.
I'm probably going to go with Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses.
Uh-huh.
We will play Everlong as well.
Okay. Another one?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to fire you as my co-host. Well, no, I remember one you wanted to ask them because they mentioned that they're going to play some covers from other bands, but
Do you write your own songs?
Yes, we've
Yeah.
written, we're going to play 3 of them tonight. We've just kind of been writing them slowly, so someone will come up with a new guitar part, someone will write lyrics on their own, and we kind of bring them together in practice and just play different parts to see how they work, edit as we need to.
is the writing a group effort or does one person gets an inspiration and says, hey guys, what do you all think about this?
Sort of like, yeah, the start usually comes from one person, either with lyrics or music or sometimes just a melody they sort of want to bring to the table, and then everyone else sort of adds their input.
And we like to jam these songs out too, so like if you hear us play an original tonight and then you come back in 3 weeks and see us at a show, it may not be exactly the same.
Now, first of all, I'm very impressed that brothers get along well enough to play in a band together. What?
Oh, no, it's just sometimes tempers can flare, but usually we keep things somewhat
And
level.
I'm also surprised at how young you all are. There's not one person in this group that's old enough to drive yet. So rather than me read off of this, tell us, I'm going to go down around, have you give your age and where you go to school.
All right, I'm Jake, I'm 14, I go to Wachusett Regional High School.
I'm James. I am 14 and I go to Cushing Academy.
Zach, I'm 14, I go to Wachusett.
I'm Jonathan. I'm 13. I go to Choxett Middle School.
And that's where Kirill has just started this year.
And I'm 15, and I go to Wachusett High School.
Right. How do your peers in school feel about you guys and your band?
I know my friends are pretty energetic about it. They always seem to come to a lot of our shows. My friends are just a really great support group for me. You know, it's always great to see them in the crowd singing along and playing, so that's always fun.
And Kirill, when you and the family went to see them at the concert, what stands out to you from that evening?
How young people can sing and play guitar and drums that well.
And you've just started taking up the trumpet. Are you going to be able to play on my Christmas show this year?
Most likely, yes.
Most likely, yes. Not really committing himself. So you have prepared some music for us tonight. Before I let you go to the music corner, set, whatever, what do you want people to know about you? And we did make a deal before the show that when you're rich and famous and you're on the major networks, where did you first start on TV? Don't you ever forget it, boys. The Barbara and You show, okay? I expect to hear the recognition, and I have no doubt you're all going to be very successful. But what else would you like people to know about you and your group? Everybody turns to Ben. That's what you get for being the oldest guy in the group.
Yes. I think just we want people to know that we're just a young group of kids who just like to come together, play music, make people happy.
And I think it's a good thing for younger students like Kirill to hear how you manage your time with the heavy-duty school schedule, with classes, with the music. Any suggestions?
Don't leave anything to the night before.
That's very good advice for everybody.
I've done that, and it's not good.
That goes for music and schoolwork.
Yeah. If it's the night before rehearsal and you haven't learned something, sometimes be bad. And if you have a paper due the next day and you haven't done it, I mean.
So everybody's got their homework done for today?
Yes.
Hope so.
And you know what you're going to play tonight?
Yes.
Yeah. See, okay, so that makes me think the music comes before the homework.
Sometimes.
Tell my mom that.
Oh, don't tell. Well, she's listening. Sorry, we already blew it. Anything else you want to add, Kirill? Okay, do you think it's time to hear them play?
Yes.
All right. Be sure to take these microphones off and go over to your music set. And Kirill and I will have to just handle it till Ben gives me the thumbs up that you're ready to start playing. But and as you're playing, feel free to introduce each song and let us know what that's the favorite of the majority here.
Okay, we will.
Yep. Thank you. Good. And do you know who Guns N' Roses are? That was one of the names they mentioned that they liked their music.
Evie, I don't know.
I kind of know who they are, and Foo Fighters, I think, is a favorite of your mom and dad.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that? When you see kids like these teenagers, does it make you want to excel at music?
Well, yes. Yeah.
And how's the trumpet? This is the first time. Well, you did take piano lessons a long time ago.
That was a long time.
That was partly my fault that I started you too early. But you're liking the trumpet? That's good. And so the music that they play, and I don't know if you heard them warming up before the show, but it's music that really appeals to people your age. Your friends. Oh, and you have a mutual friend with these boys, right? One of your best friends knows the family?
Rory.
Roy,
Yeah.
and that's kind of why you went to see their concert?
Yeah, because Rory sort of brought I was at Rory's house. Rory brought us. They came, and then I had to sleep over at Rory's.
Oh, okay. And they did a lot of rehearsing, so this should be really good because they did a lot of rehearsing. So I got the thumbs up, they're ready. I think the control room's ready. And let's hear the Crushers.
So this first song will be the original that was
Yeah, our favorite one that we all play.
Searching back to your dying
play when there's nobody applauding. But anyway, that was an original number?
Yeah.
And was that a group effort, writing it?
Yeah, that was actually one of the first songs that we actually wrote together.
But the lyrics sound kind of deep. Who did the lyrics?
I think that was Zach, Jake.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm impressed.
So yeah, our next song is an original. Jonathan wrote the lyrics for this one.
It's called Forever.
Why run away when you've got everything? Or ask for a second chance when you don't need anything? Maybe some people, but my life is not absurd. When I leave a whisper, I will never be unheard. Everyone falls over, so carry on and get back up. And never let life bring you down when you are all out of luck. Look to the sky for advice and it'll be better. And live for the day, 'cause it won't last forever. Never throw the first punch, I always throw the last. I've seen some things I'd rather put in the past. As I look around, I don't see the darkness, see the night. Never be the one to screw up, never be the one to lose the fight. Everyone falls over, so carry on and get back up. You never let life bring you down when you are all out of luck. Look to the sky for advice and it'll be better. And live for the day, 'cause it won't last forever. On a day not long ago, but it feels like an age. We walked along, we wrote a song here upon stage. You'll never make me, you'll never break me. I was okay when you dropped the weight of the world on me. And if you end up losing the fight, and you're crushed by everything but light, when nothing goes right, go left. It'll be better when nothing goes your way. Just know it won't last forever.
Ben, did you say Jonathan wrote those lyrics?
Yeah.
Good job, Jonathan. I don't think you have a mic to talk to me back there, but
I do.
oh,
I
you
do.
do. Okay. When you do that, do the words just come to you?
No, it actually kind of took me a long time, but
That's it. Good job. Good job. And have you all taken music lessons?
I've taken a few lessons.
Just a few. So you're a natural. Are you? I make sure you're on the mic there.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. So you're mostly self-taught?
Yeah, mostly.
Wow. How about the twins over there?
We both take lessons.
Uh-huh. And I asked earlier if any of your parents were musical, and I think only James' mother plays the piano. No other musical parents. What are we doing next?
This will be another original. This one we wrote really recently, probably only a couple of weeks ago. So.
It's called Seven. Knowing that their fate has already been judged. On they go as the water flows, the fate of all they know is coming to a close. Raise the black sail again and again. Brace yourself as much as you can, because you're at the end of a story for what you cannot plan. So raise the black sail again and again. Brace yourself as much as you can, because you're at the end of a story for which you cannot plan. 7 by 7 and in lines of 2, 14 people are about to go through a story they will tell as long as they're alive, assuming they'll survive. On they go as the water flows, the fate of all they know is coming to a close. Raise the black sail again and again. Brace yourself as much as you can, because you're at the end of a story for which you cannot plan. So raise the black sail again and again. Brace yourself as much as you can, because you're at the end of a story for which you cannot plan. By 7 and in lines of 2, 14 people will have to choose whether they'll stay on track, because they never look back. Raise the black sail again and again. Brace yourself as much as you can, because you're at the end of a story for which you cannot plan. So raise the black sail again and again. Brace yourself as much as you can, because you're at the end of a story for which you cannot plan.
Well, my co-host thought of a good question that I meant to ask you earlier, and I forgot. So, Creel?
How do you get the name The Crushers?
That was from our baseball team. So Jonathan and I, and then the Brennans were all on the baseball team called the Crushers. So that's actually how we found out that we had this common interest in music. So we all gathered after school, or after a baseball game, and I remember Jonathan coming over to me and saying how much he had fun at the Brennan's house playing music, and that I should play guitar, since we all did that at the time. And so it just kind of started there with the baseball team. So we just kept the name.
It's a good name. Keep it.
Thanks.
I'm waiting to hear that one that was a favorite of everybody. But if you're not at that point, it's okay.
That was the first one.
that was the first one.
Oh, that was the first one. Oh, okay.
So yeah, this one's Everlong by the Foo Fighters.
So this one's not an original.
Thank you. dedicated professional musicians who have cheat sheets on the floor of what the order of the songs they're going to do. You guys have everything memorized. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
We have time for at least one more.
Oh, yeah. We also have another show coming up this Saturday
good.
at the Southside Grill and Margarita Factory. We're opening for a band called Maximum Recoil.
It's Southside Girl, is that in Gardner?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's this Saturday night? That would be the 20, I can't remember what date is.
Yeah.
People see my.
coming Saturday.
Okay. Good luck with that.
Thank you. Oswald.
Hopefully we won't have to cut you off. We're getting close on time, but we might be able to get one more in.
Okay. Thank you.
All the small things, true care, truth brings. I'll take one lift, your ride, best trip. Always, I know you'll be at my show, watching, waiting, commiserating. Say it ain't so, I will not go. Turn the lights off, carry me home. Na 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 na. Late night, come home. School sucks, I know. She left me roses by the stairs. Surprises let me know she cares. Say it ain't so, I will not go. Turn the lights off, carry me home. Na 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 na. Say it ain't so, I will not go. Turn the lights off, carry me home. Keep your head still, I'll be your thrill. The night will go on, my little windmill. Say it ain't so, I will not go. Turn the lights off, carry me home. Keep your head still, I'll be your thrill. The night will go on, the night will go on, my little windmill.
Thank you. What do you think, Kirill?
I think it was good.
We got a private concert, more or less. There's those people out there in TV land, but
Yeah.
that was great. Thank you, guys.
So much for having us.
Oh, my pleasure. And Saturday night at the Southside Grill
Southside Grill,
in
Margarita
Gardner.
Factory. Yep.
And what time are you going to be on?
About 7:30.
Okay, folks, if you want to hear some more of this, that's where to go. And I've got time to give this. I think it's a very interesting aside. And some of you who maybe have been in Fitchburg for a long time remember Laurel Street Pharmacy. Well, that lead singer over there, James, is the great-grandson of Pat Baroni, whom I remember very, very well. Your great-grandfather was a very nice gentleman. Just thought I'd tell you that, and I'm sure there's people out there that will remember Laurel Street Pharmacy. Next week, my guest will be Sherry Keating, and she's going to talk about the life-changing power of your why. I know it will be interesting. And also from Fitchburg State College, their program called Adult Learning in the Fitchburg Area, we're going to have Dr. Lisa Moisen and Joanne Hughes here to tell us about that. And do you have a little bit of another song in you? I'm going to wrap up, and if you want to play us off of the air,
All right.
You can do that. But anyway, I want to thank you for watching. Kirill, you did a great job as my co-host, and I hope you'll join us again next week. I will be here. I hope you will. This is Barbara Foster saying good night and God bless you. And here's a little bit more of the Chargers.
Dreams of war, dreams of life, dreams of dragons fire, and of things that will fly. Sleep with one eye open, ripping your pillow tight. Exit light, enter night. Take my hand, off to Never, Neverland.
Lay me down to sleep.
Now I lay me down to sleep.
Pray the Lord, my soul is keep.
Pray the Lord, my soul to keep.
If I die before I wake,
And if I die before I wake,
pray the Lord, my soul to take.
pray the Lord, my soul to take.
Hush, little baby, I don't say a word. And never mind that noise you heard. It's just a piece under your bed, in your closet, in your head.